Hello friends, I'm Jenny Choi. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the Director of School and Library Marketing at Abrams. Mahalo for taking time to watch this young adult edition of our Spring-Summer 2022 preview. The creators you'll meet represent a wide range of identities, genres, and formats, and their stories will certainly resonate with lots of different readers. It's time to suit up for Generation Wonder, a high-flying YA anthology that turns superhero tropes on their head, edited by Barry Liga. Barry knows a thing or two about superheroes. His knowledge about the histories of existing heroes is impressive to say the least. But most importantly, he understands that superhero stories have unlimited potential in the tales they can tell, and that creators from all kinds of identities can make something special when given the opportunity and the freedom to play in the genre. He assembled an all-star cast of storytellers to do just that. There are writers in this anthology who have written hundreds of hero storylines, and writers who have never penned a superhero before this book. Stories that take place in worlds wholly unlike ours, and stories that are set much closer to home, and characters who aren't featured enough donning a mask, cape, and tights. This collection of 13 short stories shows readers that anyone in the world, regardless of race, sexuality, gender, or ability, can be a hero. It's also an excellent reminder about why we love superheroes in the first place, because they inspire us to dream, to hope. And as Barry keenly notes in the book's foreword, it's good to aspire to things we can't necessarily achieve, because along the path to that impossible dream lies thousands of opportunities we'd never see if we hadn't set out on the journey in the first place. And all of us can always be better, do better. Superheroes have come a long way since their inception, but we still have a long way to go and so much more we can do to ensure everyone feels represented by them. This book is a step toward that future, and I hope your readers will feel seen somewhere within its pages. And now I'll turn it over to our authors.
Hi, my name is Diana Ma. I'm here to talk about Her Rebel Highness, Book 2 of the Daughters of the Dynasty series, which is an epic romantic series that follows the descendants of Empress Wu Zetian, the first female monarch of China. Book 1, Heiress Apparently, follows the story of Gemma, a young Chinese-American actress who goes to China for the first time as a young adult and discovers all kinds of family secrets. So Book 2 follows the story of Lei, Gemma's mother, in 1989 as a young girl in China during a very fraught period of time. In 1989, there was a lot going on, but one of the big things that was happening was the Tiananmen Square protests. And Lei's imagination is caught by the protest. She sees the injustice all around her and she wants to be a part of the change. So she wants very much to join these protests, but there are a few things holding her back and she has some tough choices to make. One thing that is holding her back is that her father happens to be a high-ranking Communist Party official, and he's pretty invested in protecting the family, and he feels that one of the best things he can do is stop these protests. And Lei, to a degree, understands why, because her family has a huge secret that could put them at great risk. And it has to do with the art mystery that I teased in Heiress Apparently and continues on in Her Rebel Highness. When I was Lei's age, I watched on television here in the US these protests unfold in China, and my imagination was caught by them as well. It was a very powerful moment, and I think in looking back on it, it was what started my own journey of protest in the US and my involvement in protest movements. So I drew upon that experience when I was writing Lei's story. And my choices were different from Lei's, but she has a lot of universal decisions to make as a young adult. Is her duty towards family? Is it towards changing the world for better? Discovering love for the first time? And just ambition, figuring out who she wants to be. So there's a lot in Her Rebel Highness that I pull from my own life, even though it's a historical novel set in a country different from the one I live in. And I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Sajni Patel here, talk to you about my sister's Big Fat Indian Wedding, which is a YA rom-com. This story follows Zurika Damani, an Indian American teenager who wants to pursue musical college because she happens to be very gifted with the violin. Now her family has other plans for her. They want her to go into pre-law and follow the footsteps of her older and very successful sisters. The thing is that Zuri has a chance to get noticed by scouts of the nation's most leading musical colleges during a competition. However, the problem is that this competition falls on the week of her sister's Big Fat Indian Wedding. This book was definitely inspired by my brother's own Big Fat Indian Wedding. He, in fact, had 4 pages of a schedule, including some choreographed Bollywood-style dances, which is seen in the book. The thing about my brother's wedding is that it was so cinematic and theatrical and full of color and vibrance and so loving that I just wanted to live in that moment forever. And I really couldn't get it out of my head. So I ended up writing the story, and I really want to share with readers what it was like to be in that moment with my brother, participating in and just enjoying this wedding with him. And the thing about Zuri is that she not only has this big wedding to juggle with the competition, but there's also a sort of a love interest that comes along. He is visiting from South Africa for the groom side of the wedding, and he's also going for this competition. So Zuri has a lot to balance. And the thing is that she's got a lot of boisterous family to go along with her sister's Big Fat Indian Wedding. So I hope that you get to read the book, and I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I have writing it. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Stoeve and my pronouns are they, them. My second novel, Arden Gray, and the story opens, Arden is struggling. Her parents have separated and her mother has moved out, and she's coping through her love of film photography and her relationship with her best friend, Jamie. But when Jamie gets his first girlfriend, Arden's insecurity grows, and she starts to wonder if she's jealous, or if Jamie's relationship is as unhealthy as she thinks it is. When the tension causes a rift in their friendship, she's forced to branch out and make new friends and reconsider how much of her relationship with her mom was unhealthy too. To me, the central idea of the story can be summed up in the book's tagline: how do you learn to trust yourself? More specifically, how do you recover your sense of self when a central relationship in your life has taught you to doubt that, to fear rejection and abandonment if you assert yourself? Friendship can be an important site of healing for those wounds, and Arden learns who she is outside of her mother's shadow by coming out of her shell, making new friends, starting to share her photography with the world, and eventually asserting herself in important moments with Jamie and with her mom. One of my favorite aspects of the book is how each of the main characters are queer and trans, but that's not central to the book's plot. They're just part of who those characters are. Jamie is a trans boy, one of Arden's new friends is asexual, and another new friend is a queer girl. Arden herself is queer and is questioning whether she might be asexual too. I love writing queer characters just being who they are in the world. And like my debut novel, Between Perfect and Real, I hope that Arden Gray will help LGBTQ+ teens feel seen too. Thank you for all you do to get books into the hands of kids who need them.
Hey there everyone, my name's Eric Smith, and I'm so excited to tell you about my new book, Jagged Little Pill, written with Alanis Morissette, Diablo Cody, and Glen Ballard. Honestly, I'm so not used to saying that out loud, and I don't know if I ever will be. I can't believe this is happening. Jagged Little Pill is a young adult adaptation of the award-winning Broadway musical, centering on the teen voices from the show. Readers meet Frankie, Nick, Bella, Phoenix, and Joe, all of whom are at this big crossroad moment in their lives, with one another, with their families, and with the world. Frankie is adopted and wrestling with identity and her family's drive to just be perfect all the time and avoid any kind of confrontation. Joe, her best friend, wants to be accepted by her homophobic mother while juggling her undefined relationship with Frankie, her best friend. Phoenix is a new kid with the soul of a poet and a sick sister back home and a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. Bella wants nothing more than to just enjoy the last few months of high school, and Nick, Frankie's older brother, wants his family to quit pressuring him to be flawless. All of these stories collide when Bella is sexually assaulted at a party, and it looks like the person behind it might just get away. Everyone has to rally and raise their voices, learn how to be allies and be truthful, while simultaneously wrestling with their own personal demons and traumas. Jagged Little Pill is full of complicated relationships, friendships on the rocks, struggling families, and also a lot of hope. Because it's oftentimes when things feel their darkest that we find a bit of light, not just to shine a way out for ourselves, but for everyone around us. As a transracial adoptee, Frankie's story in Jagged Little Pill absolutely grabbed me. When you're raised questioning your identity and struggling with the question, so where are you from? You find yourself in a constant search for answers and grow frustrated when you can't find them. A lot of what Jagged Little Pill is about is that frustration, the fight to be heard. Whether it's Frankie wanting her family to understand that she's different and that's okay, Bella's fight to have a voice, or Nick's struggle to be his own person. That theme, being heard, is one of the many reasons I love young adult books so much, and why Jagged Little Pill works so well as a novel for teenagers. YA is full of great stories about finding your voice, and when you found it, using it. I'm just so honored to get to write this one alongside some artists I wildly admire. I grew up listening to Alanis Morissette. I've loved every movie Diablo Cody has ever written. And now here I am, shooting this video for all of you. So thank you, all of you who are listening right now. I hope you enjoy meeting Frankie, Nick, Bella, Phoenix, and Joe as much as I loved writing them.
Hi, my name is Leisel Adams, and my book is called ROYALE. ROYALE is about a teenager named Rose who wants to become a chef. She enlists the help of her best friend, Fred, and together they decide to enter the biggest, most competitive international baking competition on TV. The competition is actually 5 rounds of bizarre challenges. My favorite one is the food fight. There's tons of backstage rivalry, drama, humor, and a bit of romance to sweeten the deal. This book is partly inspired by my love of baking. There are some recipes in the book related to the story that anyone can try. There is a bit of inspiration also from the many cooking competitions you see on TV, instead made into something really extreme and fun and kooky. And the themes are connected with how much you are willing to risk to be a success, and also that you don't necessarily have to be cutthroat to be a good chef or to be good at anything. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, my name is Talia Dutton, and I'm the creator of a new graphic novel called M is for Monster. It's a kind of Frankensteinian story, and it all started with a sketch in my notebooks when I was in grad school. It was a monster, sort of akin to the Frankenstein's monster, with the stitches and the bolts and everything, but it was also a child, because that was the take on the Frankenstein story that I wanted to tell. The idea of creating a monster like being a parent. It's a story about expectations and what it means to be monstrous as just sort of being different and not what people expected you to be. I was a gifted kid, so I saw a lot of my friends in middle and high school and college struggle a lot with the expectations their parents placed on them. It's kind of hard because every parent, I feel like, is going to imagine some beautiful scenario for their kids of this ideal life of them being a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or whatever. And even if this kid does become a teacher or a lawyer or a doctor, their life is never going to look exactly like this perfect fantasy that their parents came up with when they were an infant. It just won't happen. Things never turn out exactly like you expect. M is supposed to be someone else. Dr. Frances I created M when she was trying to bring her younger sister back to life. So she expected when this creation woke up that it would be the sister she's known and loved for most of her life. But M is a new person. She's completely different. She has new opinions about clothes and tea and doesn't seem to like the same science and lab work that the doctor used to be able to nerd out about with her little sister. So it becomes a story of loss and trying to be somebody that you're not for the sake of somebody else. For M, it becomes a decision about whether or not to make herself palatable for the people around her who she cares about. It's kind of complicated for her. This is the only family she's ever known, and she likes the feeling of the love they have for who she's supposed to be. I'm so excited for this book to be published and read by new people. I've been working on it for about 3 years now. My editors, Charlotte Greenbaum and Mariko Tamaki under Shirley Books, helped me turn it into something amazing. It's been a huge project and also just a labor of love. I really love this story, and I really hope that when it comes out, people will love it with me.